Okay, here we go. I'll let you Yep. Hey everybody, happy day number 1 of the Get Your Business Organized in 5 Days. For those that have seen us before, welcome back. For those that have not yet worked with us, welcome. As always, drop into the comments below. Please do say hi and where you're tuning in from in the comments, just so we know who's on here. And obviously, what to expect from this week. Again, if I sound like I am a DJ for a smooth jazz radio station, I'm dealing with a little bit of a chest cold right now. Nancy is the one that typically runs the show with this week, so I'll be her sidekick and Flavor Flav, so to speak, and just chiming in from here to there. But this is her jam. For those that have been feeling like they are very disorganized in their business, you've actually come to the right place. This is what Nancy and I specialize in helping people not only build out the foundations of their business, but how to organize everything from top to bottom. So again, as you're coming on, please do say hi and where you're tuning in from in the comments below. A couple of housekeeping notes before we get into today's day number 1, which is assessing your business. Towards the end of today's session, we will be dropping in the comments. A link to take your own business assessment. It is something that you'll be able to save. You'll get your own copy of it, but we will also be emailing it out tomorrow morning with the replay from today's session. So the way that we did it before is you kind of like would fill it out in your workbook, which you still can, but we wanted to give people a digital copy and digital access to that. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure everybody understands. Again, we're going to send you a private link for that. The other thing is that we do have prizes that we are going to be giving out all this week. We are going to be giving out Amazon gift cards, autographed copies of both mine and Nancy's book, but also access to one of our courses that we've created for absolutely free. There's 2 requirements. Number 1, you must be in the Facebook group first and foremost. So I just dropped a link in the chat. All you have to do is click on that, and then basically it'll ask you to join the Facebook group because there's going to be a homework thread every day pinned to the top of the Facebook group. It will say Nancy's day 1 homework thread, Nancy's day 2 homework thread, and so on and so on. So that's where you're going to be submitting your homework each day, and those are where we will be pulling the winners from. So to be able to participate in the homework prizes, number 1, you must be in the Facebook group. And number 2, obviously you must do the homework accountability assignment that we put in there. So the link is right there. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Other housekeeping, just to let everybody know that there will be 4 emails sent to all of you every single day this week up until Friday. There will be a replay email sent out at 7 a.m. every single morning. And there is actually a replay page that we've created for all of you. So it's a link that you'll click in tomorrow's email that will take you to a replay page where you'll be able to watch day 1 through day 5. So it's the same link every single day. You'll just see a new replay appear, but we will still be sending out that replay email reminder every morning the day after at 7 a.m. You will also get an email an hour before we begin each day, and you will get a 15-minute reminder and a "We Are Live" reminder. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure. Awesome. Good. Because again, we just want to make sure everybody is clear on that. Again, if you're in the Facebook group, just drop a Y or a yes. If you have not yet joined the Facebook group, type an N or a no. Because again, if you do want to participate in the homework prizes, again, you can make sure that you're in there, and the replays are available until this Sunday. So you have all week to kind of watch back, and then Sunday at 9 p.m. EST, since daylight savings just took place, they will be coming down. So just make sure that you're on here, and you can dig into those replays whenever you want. Now, before we jump into day number 1, which is assessing where your business is, which is very vital, because this tells you exactly what bottlenecks, what holes, what gaps are presently in your business that are holding you back from where you actually want to be. On a scale of 1 to 10, meaning 10, you have your business completely organized top to bottom, rocket fuel is ready and you're ready to launch. 1 being you need some major help. Where would you guys rate yourselves on a scale of 1 to 10? Drop that number. 2, 8, 3, 3, 7. Awesome. So again, everyone's at a different place, but the idea of this workshop is to make sure that by the end of the week, everybody is at a 10. Again, one thing that we specialize in is helping people get their business organized, and get all of those processes streamlined and in place, because again, we want everyone to succeed. The problem is a lot of people are just collecting a lot of shelf help, meaning they are, jumping from course to course, program to program. And we wanted to create a one-stop shop where you can take that 10,000-foot view of exactly what your business needs right now, assess it, and throw some gasoline on that fire. So if you guys are ready to dive in, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And again, we got a lot to cover. So again, there'll be a homework thread pinned to the top of the Facebook group. Make sure you are in there. And again, we're going to get the slides up and going. I just want to make sure. Hold on for 1 sec. Right. All right. So we're going to present this, and I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to hide the video panel. If you guys can see our screen loud and clear, just please drop a Y or a yes in the chat. We always like to do this before we dive in, just to make sure there's nothing, obviously no issues. Okay. So enough of me, and on to the main event.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So just to share with you guys, previously in the past, we have charged for this workshop. So, we are making this free and available for anyone and everyone. And I think it comes at a really, really, really good time. Okay. And the reason why I say that is, we are getting ready to head into, right, the holiday season. And on the other side of that is January, okay, which is 2024. So there's no better time to get organized in your business than now, and when we are able to really wrap our arms around our business and what's going on, we're able to really, really put the systems in place, fill in those gaps, and really fix those bottlenecks that we have. And ultimately, right, that leads us to feeling much better when it comes to our business. Now, some things that we've updated in this training. So you guys will see, we're going to pepper some AI tips, throughout. So if you guys are actually using ChatGPT or using AI, if you guys could type a Y or a yes in the chat, just so I can get a feel for those of you who are already dabbling with the AI and some of the different AI tools. Excellent. So we'll kind of pepper some things there, because there's even some productivity hacks, some ways that you can use AI that are going to be really, really cool and applicable, obviously, to this program. So for anyone who doesn't know us, right, so I, I'm an author. In fact, I wrote my first book this year, How to Build Your Personal Brand on Social Media. Run an agency, with Scott. And also we have a business together as well, where we have a mastermind and a foundational program. We absolutely love what we do. And our big mission is to really help others, build the type of businesses that we have built, right? Businesses that give you time freedom, they give you flexibility, they give you high margin, right? We're not spending a ton of money on our business, but we're making more money. So that's what we're really, really passionate about. Many of you probably know Scott through LinkedIn. He is a LinkedIn expert, but he is also amazing with mindset, coaching, business strategy, just an absolute wealth of knowledge whenever it comes to really driving home a lot of things in your business.
Yep. And just really quickly,
Yeah.
anyone that needs the workbook, Nancy actually dropped it in the private Facebook group, and it's in every email that's going to be going out. So if anyone needs the homework or the workbook link, it's been in every email that we have sent. It's in the Facebook group already. And we'll be sending out other emails with the workbook attached to it if you don't have it, but it's not a big deal.
Yep, absolutely. And it's in the Facebook group. It's under the files. So I just dropped the PDF right in there. I do recommend you guys print it out, or at the very least, pull it up on your computer and just take the notes. A lot of the activities and exercises in there. Again, we're going to kind of be touching on them, but definitely the workbook is going to be a great companion to make sure that you're on track with everything.
And one last thing before we dive into today, as everyone knows that, we always record these, so you'll be able to watch this back up until next Sunday, or this Sunday coming up, which is the 12th. But we also have planned for you guys on Wednesday a very special announcement, something that we want to do for you guys to help you move your business forward through the holiday into next year and beyond. So just be on the lookout for that. We're going to talk a little bit about it more on Wednesday and Thursday, but just keep that in mind. A lot of the questions that you may have will get answered with some things that we're going to talk about later this week.
Absolutely. So, why are we doing this workshop and why are we here, right? I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, even myself included, when I started building the business, and obviously when Scott started building his business, we were all over the place. Okay. In fact, I used to joke, I used to call our business the patchwork quilt. And every day we were kind of flying by the seat of our pants. And it consistently left us feeling overwhelmed, right? It also left us feeling unproductive and inconsistent. And that every single day, right, we were kind of sitting at the computer and our wheels are spinning and nothing's really moving forward significantly. Okay. I know we've all probably been there too, where you sit at your computer and there's about 20 tabs open and you're kind of like, what should I be doing? Right. I know there's things that I should be doing. And then all that happens is you get more and more frustrated and things compound. So obviously we want to provide a solution for you guys. The goals of this workshop are to help you be more organized, to help you be more productive, to help you finally get consistent and to make forward momentum. Now, again, as Scott mentioned, right, make sure you guys have the workbook, make sure you participate in the Facebook group. We want a lot of participation for any of those. I know a lot of people aren't on here live, but are watching the replays, but still participate, right? You can throw some questions, comments, share some things in the group, but do the work, okay? You're going to have some homework assignments for each day. Of course, it's like a little puzzle piece, right? Each day builds off of the day prior. But if you do the work, it's going to get you that much closer to identifying, right, what's really going on in your business and really help you get a better handle on it. Okay. So of course, these are the different things that we're going to go over each day. Day one, which is today, is really assessing where you're currently at in your business, right? I think it's so important. And it's so important for you guys to recognize that we can't move forward until we know where we are. Okay. And I love the quote, and I know, Scott, I use this all the time. It's this old adage, it's hard to see the label when you're inside the jar.
Yep.
Okay. When we are inside the jar and we are running our business, sometimes we're in the weeds, right? And we can't really see some of the things that are missing that would make our business more enjoyable to run, right? And more organized, right? It's hard for us to see that. So today is all about going through and really narrowing down what is missing. Okay. Now I want you guys to share just a quick poll. What stage of business are you currently at in your business? Okay. Are you a beginner? Did you just start your business? Have you been in business a few years? Have you been in business over 3 years?
So
Right. So just
beginner,
kind of share.
beginner, 3+, 3+, beginner. Okay, good.
Excellent.
And here's the thing: no matter where you are in your business, everyone starts at the same place when they're assessing their business. Now, Nancy and I, we've been in business for many, many, many years. I mean, collectively, I've been in business for myself for 25 years,
Yep.
Nancy for well over 10. The fact of the matter is that we still assess our business each and every year because we like to grow every single year, and we've done that. But the only way to enable yourself to grow and scale and throw gasoline on the fire of what you have to assess things that are working, things that are not working, and things that are missing. And that's exactly what we're going to cover today.
Yeah. And the cool thing is when you actually get specific on what your business looks like and what's going on, and you do that assessment, after you do the initial assessment and you build out those foundations, every year it gets easier, right? You get to optimize, you get to tweak things, you get to test to see, a little more closely what is working and what's not because you have these things built. So now is the best time, right, to go through and really do this. And I want to remind you guys, no matter how big your business is, no matter what the structure of it is, no matter what the business model is, no matter what stage you are in business, there are 3 core functions for every business. Okay. And again, this is million plus, per, month or whatever a business is. Every single business is the same. Okay. They all have 3 core functions. And those 3 core functions are sales and marketing, operations, and financial. Okay. You can't argue that, right? Every single business is the same. Okay. Now, the whole purpose of taking this assessment and what we're going to be talking about today is, again, taking a big step back and taking that bird's eye view of your business so that you can better focus on those little things and plugging in, right, the systems, the different, operations in your business, the different things that need to be done so that, again, you can continue to grow and work towards improving your business.
The other thing that I want to chime in and say is that no one's business will be any more forward if you don't assess where it is right now, because wherever your business is right now, it is predicated on what you're currently doing. And if you're not happy with where your business is, you want more profit, you want more revenue, you want more growth. That means you have to assess what's actually going on under the hood of what can be fixed, corrected, and moved in the right direction so you can accomplish more. So if everyone is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And if you feel that you're leaving money on the table and your business is not where you want it to be, just type the word me in the chat. Just want to see where everybody is, because again, none of us should be complacent. And again, that's not saying that we need to, reach for the pinnacle of every single thing, but we should not be complacent with where we are. We should always be looking to grow, expand, and go into uncharted territories.
Yep, absolutely. And the other thing that I want to remind you guys is if you're feeling frustrated and you're kind of feeling lost, and you're thinking, oh man, why did I start all this in the first place? One of the most impactful things to come back to, and I know this is in the workbook as well, but do you have a clear business vision? Right? Is it clear what you were looking to do and what you're looking to achieve? Because here's the thing, when you are not aligned with your business vision and the goals that you have set out to do, things are going to continue to look a lot messier, right? We could talk about assessment all day long. We could talk about operations and we could talk about all kinds of fun stuff. But if you don't have a clear business vision and what you're looking to achieve, start there. Okay, that's your homework for tonight. Because when you have a clear business vision and you know what you want to achieve, everything else, right? That's the North Star. Everything else comes after that. So make sure that you've taken the time to really break that out. I know for us, right, a big motivator and the businesses that we wanted to build, right, we wanted to create businesses that helped other people. We wanted to help people feel the way that we do. We wanted to help people have the time freedom, the flexibility, right? I think, it was once said that every single human wants the same thing, right? Health, wealth, peace, and abundance, right? We want to help other people have that. And run businesses that they love. So, of course, your business vision might be very specific to you, but make sure that you take the time to break that down. Okay. So when we talk about assessing your business, again, you can use your workbook. There are questions that we're going to actually go through today on the call because we kind of want to give you guys an idea of what this looks like. But you're going to see in your business assessment, in your workbook, you'll see some icons and one that looks like the one that I'm showing here, that yellow check mark. There's a reason for this, right? And we're going to come in, we're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But again, I want you to go through and really take an honest, I want you to mark stuff as yes and no. Like it's either a yes or a no. It's not a maybe. Okay. So that's a big thing. Did you already share the link for the form? For the
No,
business assessment? Okay.
Yet.
So if you want to share that now, in fact, I want to drop the business assessment. And the whole purpose, guys, is that you guys can actually take this business assessment. Again, right? I'm totally open. If you guys are hybrid, you want to do the physical copy in your workbook, that's fine. But I also want to make sure that you guys are able to complete this using the digital version as well. Now, keep in mind, the link that Scott's dropping right now, okay, is a Google form. When you fill this form out, make sure to hit submit. And what happens is you get a copy in your email. Okay. So as long as you put your name, your email in there, you'll get a copy of that. And that is the assessment that you can go back to. You can kind of take a look. You can see what's going on. But that is the link that Scott just dropped for you guys to take that assessment.
And again, just go right there. I'm going to just do one thing. Hold on. There we go. Just dropped it in there. I also just dropped in a copy of the workbook if anybody needs it. So the first link that we dropped.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
You can do that. So anyone that needs the workbook for this week, all you have to do is click on that PDF. It'll download right to your computer. And again, toward the end of today's training, we'll be dropping that link again for your business assessment. It is meaty. So meaning you're going to have to block off about 15 to 20 minutes to do it, but it is so essential. This is something that we do with every single business owner that we work with, because if they don't know what they're lacking, what they're missing, then we can't help them. So taking this business assessment is going to help you more than you know. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure. Okay, good. Perfect.
Excellent. So it looks like this in your workbook, but again, Scott dropped the form link so you guys can access it that way as well. Again, you don't have to do, you can pick either one, whatever you feel most comfortable with. But everything starts, right? The whole entire assessment starts with operations. And I kind of want to give you guys a disclaimer, even before you start going through this. If it is not a heck yes, then it's a no.
Yep.
Okay. Again, I don't want you sitting there and going,
Dawdling.
well, no, like Scott said, it should take, this assessment should take even less than 15 minutes in all honesty. You should be able to go through.
Yes, no.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with answering a bunch of no's, right? What does that give us? That gives us insight to some things, right, that we need to put in place for our business. Yep. Okay. So, again, whenever it comes to operations, it really breaks down, right? Some questions to assess. Have you identified who you're selling to? Okay. Guys, whether it's content creation, whether it's creating and designing programs or memberships or whatever, you have to be clear on who you're selling to. Okay. And if you're not clear on who that audience is, then it's a no. Okay. Do you have an hourly rate? Okay. This is a big one. In fact, we're going to park on this one for a second. I'm going to let Scott share a little bit more about it. Some people might be looking at that and going, oh, well, I don't need an hourly rate. I sell products, or I don't need an hourly rate because I don't charge hourly. Well, it's important that you know your hourly rate, even if you do not charge by the hour. And we're going to explain why now.
So the fact of the matter is, drop a Y or a yes if you know your hourly rate. And if you don't, type an N or a no. if you do or do not know your hourly rate. Okay. So a bunch of yeses, some nos. Here's the thing. There's two types of hourly rates. There's an hourly rate that you determine, if you're a contractor, consultant, coach, that you charge per hour. But Nancy and I like to actually dive a little bit deeper into that, where how many hours a week are you spending on your business? So outside of any hourly rate that you have, and there is an equation for this, and we're going to show you the equation of how you figure this out. But we've done this exercise with people before. It's alarmed them because they feel that they may be further along in their business than they should be. I'm making $1,000 a week, but when they start to break down how many hours they are working to create that $1,000, they start to recognize that their hourly rate is not what they're charging. It's actually much less. And this is the thing that we really want to bring to the forefront of everything that you're doing. For those that don't know this, Nancy and I, we work 3 days a week. We work Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We're off Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. When we do work on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, we work from 11 to 5. That's it. We work 18 hours a week.
And then during workshops.
And then during workshops, we're here with you guys for the hour. But the whole fact is that every single one of you needs to understand with how much money you're making per week, what that's actually equated to per hour with how many hours you're working on your business. So if everybody is clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, I want to ask a very transparent question. How many of you feel that you are working way too much and earning way too little from the amount that you're working? Drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So this is the discrepancy that we need to clarify, because it may be a multitude of things, not just your hourly rate that you're charging people. You have to start working smarter, not harder. There was a badge of honor that people used to try to go and get and slap on their arm, that they are grinding it out more than anybody else out there. Oh, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, computer's on, and I'm working until 11 o'clock at night. No one's clapping anymore. I mean, that just sounds terrible when someone is working. And weekends, oh man, I mean, that used to be me. We need to systematize and get all of your businesses restructured so they are well-oiled machines.
Yeah. How many of you guys, and if you can share in the chat, how many have read the book Atomic Habits? And I'm not sure, I can't remember what the author is, but it's called Atomic Habits. I know it's a really popular one. I know if you guys haven't read it, or even if you have read it, good one to read again. Yes, James Clear. Excellent. Yep. So yeah, the book Atomic Habits is really huge, right? And it's also a big part of what we teach and what we train on, because in the book, he talks about how important it is not just to set goals, right? Setting goals is okay, all fine and good, but until you create the systems and the structure in your business, that's where the money happens, right? That's where the consistency, that's where the success and the wonderfulness happens, right? With all those habits and those systems in your business. Okay. So anyway, Scott shared a little bit about hourly rate. The other thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is figuring out your hourly rate, and your hourly billable rate is really huge when it comes to pricing and packaging some different group packages, even speaking, and some other things. Right. And I think it's important for most of you, right, just to figure out what that looks like, just so you guys can have a basic starting point, whenever it comes to a lot of that. So again, I think it's huge for everyone to do. We're going to include the hourly rate calculator on the replay page. We've got a little link where you guys are going to be able to access that. But the calculator really takes you through, right, your overall income goals, the amount of weeks you work. It kind of works backwards and gives you a little spreadsheet that pumps out what that looks like, right? So just kind of a little sneak peek of what that looks like. And the cool thing is again, you can play with it. So if there's a certain amount of time that you're able to work, okay, cool, put that. If you're part-time, right, working on your business. In fact, I've worked with a lot of coaches that they have a full-time job, right? We have, some clients that are attorneys, they have a full-time job as an attorney, and they're building, right, a coaching business or consulting business outside of that. So really, when you think of that, the amount of time that they actually have, the actual time that they have to work, and do the coaching sessions, things like that, it's a lot less than you initially thought, right? Because you're only working so many hours in that business.
And again, you're going to have access to this little calculator. And what I'll tell you is that for some of you, it may be a really, really good mirror turning moment where you realize that you're worth a hell of a lot more than the work that you're putting in. And that's what we want you guys to understand, that you are worthy of so much more. You are so valuable to the marketplaces that you're in. And we may have to get a little bit uncomfortable and realize that, there's things that need to change. If your money, the income in your business has been the same, has been slowly, like snail speed, growing or going backwards, it's time to change something. And that's exactly what we want you to help you do. Is, again, people ask us all the time, how do you guys continue to grow and scale? Is because we're always assessing where our business is, what holes and gaps are there, what bottlenecks need to be fixed, so we can always move forward. And that's what we want for all of you.
Yep, absolutely. So again, super important. I don't think we have to keep going, on that, but we're definitely going to give you that tool. Again, we'll have the link on the replay page for you guys, so you can access it there as well. The next question, right? Under operations, do you have a product or service to sell? Is it super clear what it is that you do? Okay. If you are in your very beginner stages and you really are not sure what it is that you offer, great. Okay. Put no, right? That's something that you want to work on. You want to finesse, you want to figure out, again, that comes after deciding who it is that you want to help. But it's important to take a minute, right? And really dig into that. The next part of that, which I love, and in fact, I was listening to a really great episode that Brendan Burchard did. For anyone who hasn't heard of him, he does a lot of mindset work, but he actually has a marketing podcast out now. But he was talking about this on his podcast, and he said, guys, do you have a value ladder of services?
Yep.
Right? That's not the first person to say that. No, digital marketer, right? Way back in the day when they initially started all of their programs, they're a huge marketing resource for entrepreneurs. They have a whole structure. It's like building out your value ladder of services. This means an entryway, right? A lower ticket, lower cost way for people to work with you,
or free,
a mid tier and a high tier. So again, I think it's important to think through these things. Again, just kind of giving some tips for AI. If you teach AI and you go into ChatGPT and you share some things about your ideal clients, you share a little bit about your business, right? You can actually feed information into one of the chats and you can say, hey, here's a little bit about my business and how I help people. I really want to build out a value ladder of services. Can you give me some ideas for some different services that I can provide for blank? Okay. And again, you can communicate that a million different ways, but it's entering some things and letting ChatGPT help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it's not a perfect science. You don't have to take it verbatim. You can kind of tweak it as needed.
It'll help you.
But again, it can help you brainstorm some things that you might not have even thought about.
Yep.
Okay. Now next, as far as, product and service delivery.
So just to let you guys know what Nancy is going over with you guys.
These are the questions on the assessment.
She's literally taking you through the business assessment, but we wanted to kind of give you a preview of what you're going to be doing, because the idea is to make everybody understanding and clear exactly what the questions are that you're going to be answering. So if everybody is clear so far, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, the other thing that I will say to this, all of the most successful business owners that all of you know absolutely do these types of assessments each and every year. Now, drop a Y or a yes or an N or a no if you have or have not ever done a proper business assessment. Type a Y or yes, N or a no. Awesome. Okay, great. And again, if you haven't done a proper business assessment, you came to the right place, because you're going to. If you have taken one before, again, Nancy's going to drop the link in the chat really quickly for anyone that has not yet gotten the link for the business assessment. It is right there. Click on it. You can fill it in. and it's there for you. And again, you'll get once you're done, you're going to get a copy of your responses. So it's something that you can save and always go back to.
Yep, absolutely. So, again, under the operations umbrella, right? Product and service delivery. So a lot of us who have been in business even a few years, sometimes, right, become a little too focused on just generating leads and closing sales and kind of get into the mindset of, okay, that's the number one thing that I've got to do. But if you don't take the time to actually make sure, right, that you create a great experience on the back end, having a client onboarding process, do you have a contract for your services? Do you have a client intake form? Do you have an overview document of how you work with people, right? These little things, again, if you don't have, it's a great thing to start plugging in and creating for your business, because it is going to make things so much nicer, right? As far as an experience for your clients. And what do we know is true, right? We know that if a client is very happy and they've had a really great experience, what are they more likely to do?
Refer you.
They're more likely to refer you. Okay. So we want to offer them a great experience, and it doesn't take that much work, guys. It's just the thought put into it and caring for each of our clients.
Yep.
So the next thing is, of course, additional around client experience. Do you have terms and conditions? What's your refund policy? Are you delivering an amazing value? How are you following up with clients? And do you know what the FAQs are, right? What are frequently asked questions? This is a nice little add-on. In fact, as we continue to improve things and as we add on to our own programs, and we get more feedback from people, feedback's our favorite thing to get. FAQs are wonderful, right? Whenever someone feels a little nervous at first when they first join a program, how good does that feel to see, oh, here's a sheet with all the FAQs. Oh my gosh, yes, these are 3 questions I had. Thank you for answering them. Again, it just makes them feel that much better. Okay. Now, whenever it comes to operations, under admin and administrative, okay. In fact, before I even touch on this a little bit, deeper, I was doing a training the other day. Again, I always like to kind of brush up and see, what other people are training on as far as organization, things like that. And the training itself talked about having 3 things in place in your business. And those 3 things to really help you organize and keep your business on track are having a project management tool, right? Which we're going to talk a little bit more about this week. The second one was organizing your files. Okay. And I know that sounds like so kind of basic, but do you have an online file system set up? Do you have a way to really organize and store your content or what it is that you're creating, right? I think it's really big. A lot of times we have entrepreneurs, and I hear it often for newer content creators. They're making all these videos and now their computer's like boop, boop, boop. It's about to blow up because, it's out of storage space and it's moving at a snail speed. And you're like, what do I do? Because I don't want to get rid of my videos. Okay. Well, we got to have a storage place.
Yep.
We definitely, obviously have to have that in place. I use Google Drive. Some people use Dropbox. There's quite a few different options.
Yeah.
But those things are important. And then the last thing that was in that training was standard operating procedures, which again, we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit more. But this breaks down, okay, a lot of different things here. Now, for anyone, and I know again, like we're talking about a lot of different things, I do want to kind of chime in here. We are huge fans of the Google Suite, right? We love using Google Workspace.
G Suite.
We love using all the things that they offer. It really integrates with all the different things that we
Very
do. So
user-friendly.
I do recommend using Google Drive. That's my hierarchy. I've got everything sorted and organized in my Google Drive. All my videos that I do, again, I don't have storage space on my computer. I'm one of those people. I've got so much that everything's got to go in the Google Drive so that I can save it. And, I love the Google Docs. I love Sheets. I love Forms. So many different ways that we use it. Now, do you have an appointment calendar, right? There's an electronic calendar where people can go ahead and book time with you. Now, if you are one of those people who are like, well, that seems so disingenuous and I like booking, appointments one-on-one. Well, think of how much easier it's going to be when you actually map out and you time block, right, your calendar, and you're very intentional with that time. And you block off certain time that you're going to be in the right headspace, right, to take calls. You're going to be in the right spot. You can even have an appointment calendar link for just doing podcast, episodes. So there's lots of different ways that you can use that, but it's very important that you have some organization there, because if you let things go and people can just schedule any time with you, and you don't really have a handle on your calendar in the first place, things can get a little wild and crazy. And so Amy asked, are you using paid Google Suite and Drive? I am. So we actually use it for our agency as well. I know that full transparency, they have increased their rates for their professional plans. However, it used to start at, I think, like $7 a month. But again, it's been worth it so that you have storage space for all the different things on your computer. All right. Do you have an email service provider? When are you checking emails each day, right? This should be something you should be doing daily. Do you have an autoresponder set up when you're away? Okay. So if you guys see this little check mark, by the way, I know I was going to talk about it tomorrow, but what that is that's a routine, right? That's not something that goes away. That little check mark is next to some of those items that are really going to be part of your routine. Okay. So whenever we talk about and we get a little more specific of what are the things that you should be doing each day, right? We're going to kind of touch on those a little bit more. Now, whenever we talk about an autoresponder, I love this. Okay. Because we are really big on boundaries. Okay. When you guys work with people, and especially for people who do virtual assistant work, maybe online business management, even consulting, if you work with a client, a lot of times they are going to take whatever they think they can get from you. Okay. I even had a client, go back in the day. I was doing some VA work. They would message me at 2 a.m. Okay. Now I wouldn't respond to them, but the message would go off, right? In my messaging service. And I would just be like, are you kidding me? You're expecting me to look at this at 2 a.m. Stop it. So I didn't have boundaries set up. So make sure that you guys establish clear boundaries. What are your business working hours? And be realistic. I don't want you putting 5 a.m. if it's not 5 a.m.
The other thing is this, as far as boundaries go, I'll go back to something that I spoke about earlier about the badge of honor. There's nothing that you should be proud of taking calls super early in the morning or super late at night, or on the weekends. I mean, that's nothing to be proud of. The most valuable commodity we all have to give is our own time. So you have to ask yourself, am I giving my time to everyone else and stealing it from me? And it should be the reverse. Your time is precious. People have to earn that time. And again, if it's not during certain hours of operation that you're working your business, it goes into the next day. If it happens to be on a Friday at 5 and you don't pick up until 11 a.m. starting on Monday, that's when they're going to hear back from you. You have to put those things in place. So again, just remember that we dropped the electronic version of the business assessment in the chat about 3 times. But also we'll be emailing it out with the replay tomorrow morning, so you guys have a copy of that.
Yep. And, I want to point out, right, because a lot of people, some people, especially if you are in, maybe a retail industry, you sell products, maybe even real estate or something like that. A lot of people who are working the weekends or are expected to be available at certain times, it's still okay to set boundaries, right? It's okay to set the boundaries. An example of what this can look like is, hey, I'm so excited to be working with you as your agent. Just want to give you a heads up. I just need X amount of notice, right? If you want to have, so include it right in the expectations.
Yep.
Hey, I just need a little bit of a runway in order to make sure that I can plan things out accordingly, right? Whether it be scheduling an open house or, going and running and taking people around. Make sure that you have established boundaries and expectations. The other thing too is sometimes we need contingency plans, right? If there's certain things that we can or can't do, we need to make sure to get ahead of them. Okay. If you know that you just took on a client and you've got to do an open house or something like that, and you're away that week, there's got to be another plan, or you got to make sure to have a plan B or C. Now, whenever I talk about an autoresponder, just as an example of this, so if you guys have a Gmail account, for example, if you use that for your business, you can go to settings and it's the vacation responder. better. And in fact, I got this idea. I work with a virtual assistant who was really amazing, like years ago. And I thought it was amazing because she actually kept her vacation responder up at all times. Okay. And what that vacation responder said was, thank you so much for emailing me. I check my emails twice a day to ensure maximum productivity. Okay. So I will be checking this and I will get back to you within 24 hours. Okay. I love that so much because that person got an email back right away saying, hey, I see you. I'm just not promising that I'm getting back to you just this second, but I will get to your question whenever obviously whenever they have the chance. But I think it's so great to think about that. Even, right, if you want to start with baby steps, maybe not every day, maybe you start with on the weekends. For those of you who don't want to work on the weekends, you could have a cutoff, right? And you could put that vacation responder up from Friday afternoon, right, until, maybe Monday morning. And that's absolutely fine. And you can put something like, hey guys, I typically don't work on the weekends, but please, leave any questions, comments, and I'll get to you first thing, Monday morning.
Every business is different. So every different business that you have is going to require different hours of operation, different boundaries. But as long as you have boundaries in place, no matter what the business or service that you're providing, it's going to give you a sense of, I would say, calmness, in the sense that that there's a barrier between you and the people that you're working with or looking to work with, because you don't want to be as accessible as a lot of people may say you should. Because again, something that Nancy mentioned earlier is that people will take the time that you give them. And if you give all your time, it's going to leave you empty.
Well, and we want you to have control over your business, right? We want you to run your business on purpose. Okay. And we want to make sure that, again, you're building a respectful relationship, right, with your client. And it's not all about saying, no, 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 no. No, boundaries are very important to make sure that you are setting very, very clear expectations and you know what to expect. And I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, whenever a client's unhappy or they're frustrated or they're mad because they feel like they should have, had a different experience or whatever, a lot of times it's because clear expectations have not been set, right? There's some confusion there. So make sure right out of the gate, okay, you make sure to set those expectations.
Yeah.
Now, the next category in the next bucket, in the business assessment, guys, is sales and marketing. Okay. We talk about social media marketing, lead generation, sales process, right? What different things and what do those look like? So some of the questions on the assessment, I'm not going to read through every single one, but it's making sure that you have, right, certain accounts set up for different social media platforms. Now, a lot of people will say, I don't like social media, or I don't want to be on social media. Well, I really want to advise you at this point, guys, even if you're starting from zero in this day and age, it is so incredibly important. And you are leaving so much visibility and awareness on the table by not just having a business account in the different platforms. And even, we like to focus on the top 3, right, which are Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Because what do people do nowadays? The majority of people search you on Google, right? They're kind of checking out and seeing what you're all about. They're going on the social media platforms that they're using and they're searching you, right? They want to see what's going on. And it is not all about, in fact, I have so many people who are scared to even start a business account or a page or whatever, because they're like, well, people see I have no likes, or, I won't have that many followers because I'm starting from scratch. That's okay. Guys, it is 100% okay. And we know, and we could go on all day that even some of the metrics you see, right, on social media are not real. Okay. All the people are getting like thousands and millions of likes on Instagram. It's not always real. Okay. So do you have a content strategy? Okay. Do you have a monthly, quarterly plan? Do you have 3 to 5 content buckets, right? Topics you talk about and provide value around? Do you have time blocked out on your calendar to create and schedule content, right? That is a routine that you have in place. Do you have at least 20 to 30 minutes blocked out to engage and connect on social media? And do you have a scheduling tool? Right. So these are certain things, right? These are basics when it comes to social media marketing. Now, if you do not have any of these in place, guess what? I'm happy to tell you that we can now use AI as a little brainstorming tool, as a sidekick tool to really help us remove that writer's block, remove that confusion, remove, where you used to be sitting at the computer going, I have no idea, right? You can type in AI, right? In ChatGPT, you can say, here's my business. Here's what it's all about. Here's my audience. Here are the people that I'm really looking to, work with. Please give me some ideas for some content that I can share, or please create a content plan for me, for the next XYZ days for the following platforms. And you can even break it down by platform and have it follow best practices. So again, guys, it's so incredibly important that you guys realize that you're living in a great time, because these things, right, used to take a lot of time. We can use AI to really plug things in much quicker and remove those blocks. Okay. Now, the next thing that we talk about is, generating leads. Okay. So whenever it comes to sales, in fact, I mean, Scott knows I am like so passionate, right? Every single person needs to have a plan in place to generate leads. Do you know what your goals are? Right? A lot of people don't think about it, but there's a certain number of sales calls daily that you should have that's in line with your monetary goals, right? How much money do you want to make each month? And you work backwards, right? There's a little bit of a formula there. How are you qualifying people prior to jumping on a call? In fact, this is so huge. We just read a book. What was the book called? It was by Michael Port. Book Yourself Solid. In that book, he talks about something called the velvet rope policy. Okay. Making sure that you are working with the right people. Okay. And you guys, as you start to do more and more work, I know some of you guys were on there, you said that you've been in business over 3 years, 10 years, whatever, right? I'm sure you've realized at this point, working with quite a few people, there are ideal clients and there are not ideal clients. And I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, I get that like red flag feeling whenever I know someone's just not a good fit. In fact, I had one a couple months ago. And as soon as I said something to Scott, he's like, ooh, I don't know about this, red flag, red flag. And not even kidding you, 2 months after, we had to actually, I let the client go because it just was not a good fit.
His name is Michael Port.
Michael Port is the author. Of Book Yourself Solid. Yeah. So that book, guys, Book Yourself Solid, I think they're on volume maybe 3 or 4 at this point. I recommend don't do just the Audible version, get like a physical copy. It's one of those like awesome resources that you can have and kind of refer to, right? It's all about booking the sales and generating business.
Yep.
So the next question, do you have time blocked out on your calendar for the calls? Okay. So whether it's, using a Google Calendar or an electronic calendar, make sure that you actually have time planned out for that. Have you identified the power partners, right? The ideal people to work with you. Maybe you can refer business back and forth and so on and so forth. Okay. So I'm not going to read through, like I said, every single question. We're kind of coming down to the wire here. The biggest thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is this assessment is not meant to make you feel overwhelmed or upset or scared or fearful, right? We want you to take this assessment so that you feel excited, right? You know what it is that you need to work on. These little bits and pieces, right? We always say, in fact, I heard it once, I forget who said it, but building out your business is like building out a symphony and building it out one note at a time. Okay. So we don't have to do this all at once, but we need to at least know what we're looking at. And everything that is in this assessment is the foundations of any size business.
Yeah.
So don't you want to build a business, right, that has all the basics, right? So the next section is all around financial. Again, this is all kind of the details when it comes to financial, bookkeeping, tracking expenses, all that good stuff. We do like to share, we use QuickBooks Online. It's a program, we use it with our accountant. It's worked out really well. I know there's lots of different programs out there now, that people like to use, but having a bookkeeping system and a way to track expenses and, a business bank account, these things are really, really important. Okay. So the other recommendation, and I know we're throwing some books out there at you, but one of the best books that I read whenever I first started my business, and I'll tell you, man, I wish I read it sooner, was Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Really cool too. He actually just wrote a book for kids in the last few years, which I think is really neat. But it talks about what you should do to really plan ahead for all the different expenses in your business, right? It's a great way to really organize and get a handle on, right, saving money and setting it aside for self-employment taxes. It gives you some ideas and really actionable steps and exercises how to break out your bank accounts.
Yep.
So profit first is a big one, guys. It's another essential. So absolutely. Yeah, Michelle said, great book. Wish I would have read it 5 years ago. Me too. So disclaimer, just to give you guys a quick little one, when it comes to finances, ignoring it will only make it worse.
Yep.
Okay. I have an ostrich picture here because sometimes people do the ostrich effect when it comes to financials. They put their head in the ground. Okay. That's what ostriches do when they're scared and they don't look at it. Okay. And then time goes on and they're like, oh, I don't want to look at that tax bill, or, oh, I don't want to look at my expenses, or I don't want to look at it. Please. Right. We want to, again, run our business on purpose. So look it in the face, lean in. You got this. Okay. So I like to give that little disclaimer. Now, I also am adding in here, kind of some tips and like rule of thumb. If you guys are generating between $1,000 to $4,000 a month, a good goal to set is having at least 3 months of expenses saved. Okay. So again, having 3 months of expenses saved. Now, if you're generating between 5 to 10, have at least 6 months of expenses saved, right? You want to set certain goals like that for yourself. And I just kind of give this additional tip in there because obviously it's part of the assessment, but wanted to give you guys kind of a milestone there. Now, if you don't have this currently, okay, well, it's a great goal to set up, for the upcoming year, right? 2024. But you should definitely make sure to have financial goals. Are you taking time to map out your current expenses? How many of you, and I see you, right? I can see across the screen. How many of you have memberships and subscriptions and things that you're not doing anything with? Okay. I know we all have certain things, but you want to make sure to reel that in and get a handle on what it is you're actually spending. In fact, one thing that I used to do, I was definitely someone who signed up for a lot of different things, years ago. I've definitely reeled it in and gotten better, but actually, if it's gotten way too out of hand, pull up your bank statement. Right? Take a look at those things that are coming out. You can even, ask for a new debit card. Let's say your debit card got lost or something like that, right? That means that everything else has got to reset on there. So I think I heard that tip or whatever at some point. But anyway, whatever works for you. And the third is, are you currently making money? And I know that sounds like a silly question, but really look, all the efforts that you're doing, right? You should be generating some income. Have you created a reminder to review your profit and loss? Are you setting goals and reviewing weekly, monthly, quarterly? So one thing, transparently, I will share with you guys, one of the biggest things that Scott and I have done this past year is we hired an operations specialist. And again, you don't need to hire a team member, but we are at that point, we needed some help kind of pulling some things up. But monthly, we go through and we look at all of our numbers. Okay. We look at, our sales. We look at all of our workshops. We look at registrations. We look at our programs. We look at all the different numbers and we just do a simple exercise.
Yep.
What is working really well? What needs work? And what can we stop doing? That's it. Right. And just having that monthly call and pulling up the KPIs, the key performance indicators, and the sales can be huge.
Yep.
Okay. So again, we are going to slow down a little bit, but with the intention to help you speed up. Okay. And it's really time to take action in your business. So for homework, guys, because I know, again, we're coming down into the wire, I want you to make sure to complete the business assessment. All right. In completing your business assessment, and remember, right, Scott's going to share the link again. You guys can take either the electronic version or you can take the paper version using your business assessment workbook. But you want to identify what are the bottlenecks, what are the gaps, okay? And then, sorry, Scott took my slide down here. Choose the number one thing that you're going to focus on, okay? And then share it in the homework thread for day one.
Yep. So if everybody is clear on what the homework is, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure. And I'll share with you this. We did this workshop before, and we had everybody do the hourly rate calculator, and the person found out that they were working on their business about 40 hours a week, and they were making about $500 a week from that, which means they were making $12.50. And it's kind of like glaring when we look at how much money we're making per week, but then we start to calculate the amount of hours that we're spending doing it. It's just a good, again, mirror turning moment where, again, you can understand what you need to work on. We want everyone to be profitable. We want everyone to be wealthy. We want everyone to be organized. And we want people to be working smarter and not harder. Again, your homework is to take the business assessment. And again, share in the Facebook group what it is. Choose the number one thing that you're going to work on within that business assessment. Is it sales? Is it operations? Is it finances? So again, you're going to take the business assessment. It's going to obviously clarify what's, yes and no as far as what you have in place and what you don't have in place. And within the things that you are going to be focusing on, whether it's operations, whether it's your services, whether it's your sales and marketing, clarify what is the number one thing that you have to focus on. So again, there's a multitude of things, but what's the big thing that you're going to focus on? So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Nancy?
Yeah, no, I was just going to give you an example. If you went through operations and a lot of things under that, and that's going to be a big focus, you could put operations, or you could put operations and specifically getting a client onboarding process in place.
Yep.
Okay. So we want you guys to kind of translate how you would like to, as far as what you're going to be working on.
Yep. And again, I just dropped the Facebook link to the group in the chat. So again, anyone that wants to participate in the homework and accountability assignments, but have the option and the ability to win some prizes from us this week, make sure that you do request to join that group. There'll be a replay email sent out tomorrow morning that'll have a replay to this training. It's going to be just one link. All the other trainings will appear in that one link that'll be sent out every single morning. Plus, we'll resend the assessment link if you guys do not have it. So it's in your workbook. We dropped it in the chat. Just make sure you do it. Again, tomorrow we're going to be going over what's day 2, Nance?
Day 2 is day 2 is identifying what needs to get done each day.
Okay. So again, we're going to be going over obviously the daily things that need to get done to move your business forward.
Yep. Yeah. And before we jump off, I want you guys, whenever you jump on tomorrow, I want you guys having a piece of paper, even a blank piece of paper and a pen. We want to really kind of co-work this together as well, as far as just things that need to get done. So we're going to bring a lot of that out for you. But just keep in mind and be prepared to do some brainstorming tomorrow.
Yep. And again, the big thing is clarity, being honest with yourselves, what needs to be worked on and what you need help with, and making no more excuses, leaning into the things that need to get done to make sure that you're achieving all your goals. So everyone, love and gratitude. Have a